I read the message on my boyfriend's Apple Watch because mine had died, and I genuinely thought for a second I was about to ruin my own life over a misunderstanding. It buzzed while he was in the shower, lighting up on the bathroom counter with a preview that said, "I can't do this if she's there." That was it. No name saved, just a number, no context, just that sentence, hanging there like a trap. I wish I could say I put it down and respected his privacy. I didn't. I picked it up so fast my hand slipped because the counter was wet and I almost dropped it in the sink. There were only 3 messages in the thread. Him, "Tomorrow still works. She'll be at work until 6. Unknown number. I can't do this if she's there. Him, "You won't have to see her." I think what made me feel sick wasn't even the possibility of cheating right away. It was how practical it sounded. Like an arrangement that had already been discussed. Like I was a scheduling issue. For context, we'd been together a little over 4 years, living together for 2. We weren't one of those dramatic couples constantly breaking up and getting back together. We had routines. He made coffee 2 week. I left cabinet doors open. We fought about money maybe once every couple months, then ordered takeout and acted normal again. The kind of relationship that isn't exciting to describe because it's supposed to be solid, but if I'm being honest, there had been little things lately. He'd started bringing his phone face down into every room. Not obsessively, just enough for me to notice. He'd also become weirdly attentive in a guilty way, like cleaning the kitchen before I asked, kissing my forehead in passing, asking if I wanted anything from that bakery I like, even though it's out of his way. It wasn't romantic. It felt like balancing a scale I hadn't realized had tipped. And 3 weeks before that, at his coworker's birthday drinks, one of the girls from his office had looked at me with this strange, almost pitying expression when I said, "He's terrible at replying to texts, right?" She laughed, then stopped herself too late. I remembered it because it bothered me at the time, but I told myself I was being insecure. So when I saw those messages, every tiny thing I'd dismissed came back all at once, neatly labeled. He came out of the shower toweling off his hair and saw me standing there holding the watch. He just froze, not guilty exactly, more like calculating. "What is that?" he asked. "Your watch," I said. "Who can't do what if I'm there?" He didn't answer fast enough. That was the moment I think I stopped believing him, even before he said anything. He reached for the watch and I stepped back. "Don't do that," I said, and my voice sounded embarrassingly shaky. "Just tell me the truth." "It's not what you think." I actually laughed, which I hate because it made me sound hysterical. "Then tell me what I think." He put both hands on the sink and stared down at the drain. "It's my sister." That should have sounded innocent. It didn't. His sister Nora and I do not get along, not in a dramatic way. We just have the kind of tension that never fully settles. She thinks I'm controlling because I'm organized. I think she mistakes rudeness for honesty. We're civil on holidays. That's the best version of it. So I said, "Why is your sister texting you like you're sneaking a woman into our apartment?" He snapped a little then. "Because not everything is about you." Which was a terrible thing to say to someone already holding evidence that looked exactly like cheating. I asked to see the rest of the conversation. He said no. I asked why. He said, "Because it's private." I said, "That's not a real answer right now." He said, "I'm serious." We were basically whisper fighting in a steamy bathroom while I stood there in his old college t-shirt, feeling pathetic and furious. I wish I'd handled it better. I didn't. I said, "If you don't unlock your phone, I'm done." And there was this long silence where he looked at me like I'd become someone else. Then he said, very flatly, "Fine." He handed me his I went through it right in front of him, and if people think that's toxic, they're probably right. But I also think most people say that until it's their rent, their future, and their entire sense of reality on the line. The thread with the unsaved number was deleted from his phone. Deleted. I looked up at him, and I swear my ears were ringing. "No," he said, "I deleted it because I knew this would happen if you saw it out of context." That only made it worse. There is no context where deleting messages calms anyone down. I checked his recent calls, same number, multiple times over the last month. Mostly midday, twice after 11 p.m. "Call it," I said. He shook his head. "Absolutely not." "Then I'm leaving." "Don't be dramatic." That word, dramatic, was gasoline. I grabbed my keys, my charger, a random bra from the clean laundry pile, and started shoving things into my tote bag because once I start crying, I need a task or I'll completely lose it. He followed me into the bedroom, saying my name over and over in this low, exhausted voice, like I was inconveniencing him by reacting badly to suspicious behavior. Finally, I turned around and said, "Have you cheated on me?" And he looked me dead in the face and said, "Not physically." I don't think I'll ever forget that exact phrasing. Not, of course not, just not physically. I sat down on the edge of the bed because my knees actually gave out a little. He tried to come closer and I said, "Don't!" Then everything came out in fragments. The number really was connected to Nora, but not in the way he first said. It belonged to a woman named Talia, who was helping Nora leave her husband. Nora had apparently been staying with friends on and off without telling most of the family because her husband wasn't violent exactly, just bad with anger, which is a phrase I now hate because it covers a lot of ground. According to my boyfriend, Nora didn't want me to know because 2 years ago, after a different family blow-up, I'd said she thrived on chaos and made every problem everyone else's responsibility. I did say that. Nah. And to be fair, I'd said it after she borrowed money from us, swore she'd pay it back, then posted beach photos a week later. So I didn't pull that opinion out of nowhere. But still, I had said it. Nah. He told me Nora needed a place to store some paperwork and maybe come by the apartment once while I was at work to use our printer and shower because she didn't want her husband tracking where she was. Talia was the friend coordinating things. "You won't have to see her," meant Nora, not some affair partner. I should have felt relieved. I did, for maybe half a second. Then I asked the question that actually mattered. "Why wouldn't you tell me?" And he said, "Because you make everything about whether someone deserves help." That one landed. Because again, if I'm honest, he wasn't entirely wrong. I am not the kind of person who says yes automatically. I ask questions that people sometimes interpret as cruelty, when really I think I'm just trying to keep chaos from moving into my living room. I've worked hard to have a stable life. I don't like secrets, surprises, borrowed money, vague emergencies, or messy relatives who only call when they need something. But there was another piece. While we were arguing, I'd noticed one message in a different thread pop up from a woman in his office, the same one who'd given me that weird look at drinks. It said, "Did she find out?" I asked him about that too. His face changed immediately. He said that after Nora used our apartment once last month while I was visiting my mom, he vented about it at work because he felt guilty keeping it from me. His coworker knew because he'd told her. That was the weird look. Not an affair. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Because then I asked why he'd said, "not physically." He sat down in the desk chair and rubbed his eyes and said, "Because there was a period where I talked to people about us in ways I shouldn't have." "People?" He didn't answer. I said, "How many?" And he said very quietly, "I don't know what counts." That's where we still are, basically. As far as I can tell, he did not physically cheat on me. I found no evidence of that. But he admitted there were flirty conversations during a rough patch last winter, when we were barely having sex and fighting constantly, and he said he liked feeling seen as uncomplicated by people who didn't live with him. One of those people may have been that coworker. He insists nothing happened. He also insists he was protecting his sister, not betraying me. He says those are separate issues, and I'm collapsing them into one because it's easier to be angry than ashamed. I'm staying at my friend Mara's now. He's texting normally, which somehow makes me angrier than if he were begging. Just stuff like, "Take the time you need," and "Please let me know you got home safe." Last night he sent, "For what it's worth, I'd still keep Nora's confidence. I just should have handled you differently." That sentence has been stuck in my head for hours, because I don't know which part bothers me more, that he hid things in our home and talked intimately with other women, or that a part of me understands exactly why he thought I was the kind of person he had to hide them from.